Welcome back, Wolfpack. Brolis here. Alright, Eric, show us what you got for Fan Fridays. This looks like it could be an interesting battle. The opponent has a really heavy team, but the Primate, so maybe that's some kind of interesting tech we don't know about. There's also going to be the Darmanitan lead, so that's some pretty beefy power right there. And really, I don't think Mew is going to be able to do too much of that. So it does have the Sucker Punch. Not really expecting too much out of it. Darmanitan actually opting for the U-turn right there. So it is going to get a decent amount of damage, but I feel like it had a good advantage right there, because you could do super amounts of damage with that Flare Blitz. I guess just going in the Bisharp, making sure the knockoff or the Sucker Punch going to scare it off really big. Ooh, but Mew has the Drain Punch. Oh, but there's the Focus Sash return. So yeah, looks like did go for the knockoff. Wasn't expecting outright damage from the Mew, which is interesting. Oh, Bisharp actually going Swords Dance. Mew can still win this one out though, depending, because if it goes Will-O-Wisp, that means there's just gonna be status, Sucker Punch, out, or just out prioritizing right there. Yeah, I feel Darmanitan still had it because it doesn't get Will-O-Wisp, it can't really get slowed down right there, and you just overwhelm it with outright power. And now that you've seen what Mew is really running, that's when you just come in with the Flare Blitz, and you outspeed, you go for the ultimate shenanigans. Flare Blitz though, it is going to be enough damage, so yeah, with the sheer force shenanigans that Darmanitan packs, it's going to take a lot of recoil on that one, but he could have just outright won that fight quicker. And now Landorus comes in. Intimidate going to try to reduce some power, and Darmanitan does not want any of that, so maybe going to try to make a prediction here on what kind of move it could use. Earthquake is going to be a pretty viable option right here. Could also go for a Rock Slide, but instead going for Rock Polish. So we know it's not a Scarf set. However, it is going to be down on one move because of that setup. So now we get the free Toxic Orb setup, and Landorus, Rock Polish, and Swords Dance? Okay. And that's going to be the Toxic trade right there. So, Rock Slide, Earthquake on top of that, I don't really know what else it could have, but this is getting interesting. If it has that, maybe Life Orb for damage, maybe Leftovers just to stay in longer, Stone Edge instead of Rock Slide, but that's where we see the wall right here. It doesn't matter how much Swords Dancing it doesn't matter right there. The Stone Edge, not going to one-shot because, yeah, Glasgow is a ridiculous defensive tank. Actually withdraws Landorus, does not want to get into that stall because you're just going to heal, you're just going to get in some kind of sub war. It's not going to really work out too well. So that was the Protect. So yeah, now we can get like double Protect on that Poison Heal. Wow! Toxic and Substitute and Protect and Earthquake. So no heal move. So we don't have Roost. We actually have Protect instead of Roost behind that Substitute. That's some filth, but I mean, this just shows like some of the weird things that you see on Glasgow. Sometimes they don't run Protect because they just expect to get the Poison Heal on switch. Sometimes they don't have any offensive moves because they prioritize that sustain. Sometimes it's Ice Punch over Earthquake because you just want to Dragon Kill and not really take anything out. So Earthquake looks like it's going to 3-shot the Metagross really effectively. Metagross sets up the Reflect, so pure support Metagross, interestingly enough right here. But yeah, when you combo Toxic, like if you're using Toxic, that's pretty solid to go with the Earthquake because then you just hit Steel type and Poison type for super effective damage when they would normally be immune to you. So that's how you play it with the Glasgow. And now we have Milotic coming in. Well, that's going to just keep, like, you're just leaving a lot of Protect options open right there. So Poison Heal, almost back up to full. Trying to bait with a double switch maybe? I don't really see it. Yeah, there's the Metagross. So the opponent really accomplished nothing. I feel like the opponent just made a silly tryhard move right there. That, oh, I'm going to get my Toxic immuned on the Metagross and then he's going to heal back up to full. So this is just really dumb stuff right here. I don't even know what the opponent's going for. Oh boy, you now levitate the Earthquake and start taking poison damage while you can't set up against it. Like, really, the opponent is fishing here, and he's not going to bait anything out of this Glasgow that isn't necessary. Like, oh, you made a random outplay. Cool. So we're going to see how this just spamming the Protect, getting a feel for what the Landorus is up to. If it wants a sub, it might, or if it goes Stone Edge, it might try to immediately break the sub. That gets protected. And now the Toxic wears on. Oh. Alright, we got a little bit of mind games right here. Landorus, it comes in, takes free Toxic damage, doesn't do anything, switches out. Milotic, now going to be in. I mean, you're just leaving a lot of free Protect turns. Earthquake, so yeah, just throwing out the Earthquake. You can't really do anything else. No reason to Protect if he might be doing something like that, so you get that. Toxic on Milotic would be the best, but if you switch back into Metagross, Earthquake would have been a great prediction. And just going to keep it up with the Earthquakes. Alrighty. So this is a really interesting battle right now. There's the Scald. Now, Gliscor isn't that much of a tank when it comes to special defense, especially those super effective hits. Now, Milotic isn't an overwhelmingly powerful Pokemon either. So here's when we start getting into an interesting sub-war. Because, yeah, or you could just switch out. Because, I mean, you bring up that substitute, you take the damage, but you can't get burned because you have the Toxic. And then you just heal up the sub, and then you just try to go for the predictions right there. So Milotic ooh, there's the Ice Beam. Alright, actually, excellent call to not even try to chance the Ice Beam. So yeah, just going into the Conkeldurr and really just taking it up at the way it is. So Reflectos were off, which kind of makes up for some of the damage that was being traded. And Landorus comes out. This is the chance right here to get an Ice Punch or even a serious knockoff. Now Intimidate is going to hurt, but knockoff, will it hurt more? Still a solid amount of damage, taking off the Soft Sand. Alright, interesting setup move right there, but there's the Poison. And now, yeah, Landorus doesn't want to do anything. So, I mean, you just back-to-back knockoff on that one. In comes Gardevoir. This isn't going to be, like, you do have the Intimidate drop, so it's not going to be insane, but baits out the Ice Punch. But Gardevoir is still going to take a pretty decent hit right there. And that's going to be the switch on Conkeldurr. And now we are going into, oh no, I already know what that's going to be. That's going to be the Florges. Yeah, Florges, that's filth right there, because it doesn't matter if you Mega Evolve into a Hyper Voice, Florges is going to tank that, and then now it has Synthesis, so it can either Wish Protect you, or it can Synthesis you, and it can just do nasty things. So Gardevoir, actually, I think Gardevoir wants to Wish into the Landorus to try to heal it up a bit. Will we see the play? Yeah. Oh, Metagross, actually. I would have gone into Landorus. Landorus seems like it's the heavy setup Pokemon. So, I mean, really just giving Wish into the Metagross, not going to do too much. And that's going to be Calm Mind. So, free Calm Mind for Florges. It's going to be an interesting call on the Metagross, though, because, like, you switch it out, you play it safe, because now you're just dealing with Wish shenanigans. You go into the Gliscor, which is already completely walling you. Yeah. And that's when we're just getting into some kind of stall war right now. We know the opponent has more status, is missing more health overall. And yeah, you just see, went for the double switch. So that's why you could have maybe stayed in and like tried to either bait out another Calm Mind or just throw down damage on the Gardevoir, and it would have been really effective. But now Nightwing, it could throw out the Toxic, it might land on something. Gardevoir's going to actually go for that Moonblast. So yeah, that's what I mean by going for the Toxic. Moonblast though, going to be a big hit, but I think that Toxic trade might be more in Gliscor's favor. Going to get, you know, an eighth of its health, going to protect, get an eighth of its health, can switch in back to Florges, and if Florges has Wish, then you bring back a lot of Gliscor's health. So pretty much the opponent has just been playing from behind and not really doing too many effective things with it. I'm just seeing like a lot of tactics that aren't really panning out anywhere. So at least he does get the prediction on the Protect. That could have been nasty if he just threw out the Substitute and got it. Now Gardevoir, you know, either stays in and gets all of its health back, or it does something with that Protect, or it does something with that Wish and gives it to another Pokemon. But looks like it is going to be the switch into Florges, and that is just going to be a little bit of damage from the stones. Moonblast from the Gardevoir. Even though Hyper Voice is more damage, I don't know why I see so many Gardevoir with Moonblast. I guess the attack drop does count a bit, but yeah, there's the poison damage starting to chip away. Now we get to see how Florges deals with it. So that's going to be Moonblast. I mean, Wish Protect setup, Synthesis setup. Is it going to be enough? Oof, it actually goes down to the double Moonblast. Thought it might have tanked it out just a bit more, but it didn't have it in there. So the stones actually did matter, but that's a lot of poison damage adding up. And now Darmanitan comes in. Darmanitan's pretty much in the position to clean up something. I was about to say to sweep. So, I mean, here's where the prediction also comes in. Is it going to be just straight into Milotic? Oh, actually it brings in the Landorus. Intimidate, I don't think that's going to really mean as much as the opponent thinks. So Flare Blitz going to come in. It was going to be damage across something. And that is going to be Landorus getting finished off right there. But after the rocks into the Darmanitan, that's also pretty serious. So, wow, the recoil wasn't enough. Okay, never mind. But now Primeape has something to say about that. And Darmanitan with the Flare Blitz. I think unless Primeape has like a Focus Sash, some kind of setup for that, yeah, it's just going to be a KO right there. And then that's a 2-for-1 trade. So the opponent, I guess, doesn't want any damage on his Milotic or something for fear of getting mauled out. But now that Florges is down, Milotic can do better against the Gliscor. And now Gliscor comes in, so that's going to be some health options depending on how the opponent responds, and goes into the Gardevoir. Now this is where mind games start coming in. Because, I mean, if Gardevoir goes for the Wish anyways, then that's like free substitute. Scouts out the Protect. And Gardevoir with the Moonblast. So there's the damage right there, healing up just a bit. The opponent responding better off of that, just like 1-for-1 trade. And there's the Poison Heal. So now we're getting some really precise damage stuff. Oh, leaves in the Gliscor. Try to baiting out that Wish. Moonblast is going to be enough to finish off the Gliscor. So now the main tanks are down, and we have to see what happens. Like, Gardevoir's weakened, Landorus is over, Pennywise, so, ooh. Bring in the Conkeldurr. I guess you just want to finish hard? I'm trying to figure out what could happen here. Mach Punch. See, that's going to be heavily resisted, but Gardevoir went for the Wish. So, after the Toxic damage, and Gardevoir, if it doesn't protect, could get into some weird situations right here. That's Poison. Wow. Yeah, just baiting it out right there. And now we're going to see if there was a priority call or not, because now Metagross comes in. I mean, free knockoff onto Metagross could just be some pretty serious stuff, but no, gets the Mach Punch. I mean, yeah, that means Metagross has to sit in on the knockoff. So I don't think Metagross has really anything that... no, we already saw it's a support site, so yeah, it just can't, like, Zen Headbutt Conkeldurr into Oblivion, raises special defense, goes for the knockoff, and that's going to be... I thought it'd be a little more. I thought it'd be enough to finish off the Metagross, but way too much of a filthy tank, so that's going to be Reflect, Light Clay gets knocked off, Reflect getting reset, and just pure tankiness. So Drain Punch, going to go for that neutral hit. Wow. Full defensive tank Metagross. That has to be what this is. That's silliness. So Metagross responds with the Bullet Punch, just has the priority afterwards, and now we're just in like a Titan battle right here. No one's taking any damage. Ice Punch doesn't really do too much, doesn't really get a freeze, doesn't get a prediction. That's going to be the Metagross withdrawal right there. And in comes Milotic. So I mean, just throwing out the knockoffs, what are we going to get from this one? So it is an Ice Punch. Yeah, that can do a thing. So Ice Punch, not going to get the freeze. Leftovers, going to heal up pretty much the damage that was done right there. And are we going to see Scald? Ooh, Milotic with the Scald. Burn could get filth. Alright, there we go, knockoff. That's going to be decent amount of damage. Wow, the opponent just bringing so much. Never mind. Knocks off the leftovers. Doesn't even get anything off that bonus damage. Wow, okay. So Drain Punch after that, trying to heal up what the Scald's dealing out. Yeah, Drain Punch is actually doing okay because of that stab and stuff. Yeah, the opponent has... Oh, wait, there's a Reflect. But still, I feel like there's a lot of just bold nature on the opposing team. So that's going to be Scald. Ooh, critical hit. Going to finish off the Conkeldurr. Burn might have mattered. Like, there was a decent chance for Burn that turn. And now Charizard comes in. Does Charizard get the cleanup? Alright, now we... Ooh, the rocks, though. So Charizard going to be Charizard X. How does it respond to Milotic? Because, I mean, here's where things get pretty serious. Milotic Scald, going to be neutral damage. Charizard can't get burned, just rushes out the Dragon Claw. And that is going to be not enough to knock out the Milotic. And this is what I mean, like, yeah, Scald... Decent hit, but not enough. And after the Light Screen wore off, yeah, that's why I was thinking could have gone for that Dragon Dance. He would be going in with more speed and a +1, and it should have secured a KO anyways. So now we're getting into that, and it's going to be Metagross. So Metagross does have the Bullet Punch, but it is Tank Metagross. So we're going to see if it is enough. I feel like it's going to be that clutch survival. I'm just feeling it, because yeah, we've already seen this Metagross. No, it doesn't do anything Charizard. Charizard Mega Evolves, it gets those defenses. Now it has the Roost. The best Metagross can do is, like, set up Reflect again. So I believe that ends this turn, or it ends pretty soon, unless it ends the last turn. I didn't notice, like, the text scrolling by really fast. So yeah, Charizard gets free double Roost. Back up to full. So yeah, the Reflect does get reset. I mean, it kind of doesn't matter, because then you just get a free Dragon Dance. And I wonder, like, if that was kind of the goal for the rest of the team. Because, I mean, it's just Gardevoir. Oh boy, Gardevoir comes in, Dragon Claw whiffs, or it goes for the Dragon Dance. Yeah, the opponent's really out of options right now. So then that's Poison into Poison. Gardevoir doesn't have any ways of just outright knocking out the Charizard. So I mean, could just Roost for fun, and then let the Poison do it out of BM. But it just goes for the Flare Blitz. So Flare Blitz, Tough Claws, Stab, ridiculous damage. Going to do like 3 damage in recoil. Not really too much to worry about. Oh my goodness, I called it! 3 damage! Yes, alright. And now Metagross comes in. You just throw out moves and then you win, and you're just pressing buttons anyway. So the opponent does forfeit without the options, and that's what we're dealing with. So interesting battle. Like, yeah, the Bisharp was given up for free, and then there was that tank. I like the core though. Glass core with Florges, pretty insane. A lot of fire though. That double Flare Blitz and then Conkeldurr. I feel like there are some susceptibilities to the team after watching that play out, because there were like some really, like, the opponent didn't really know how to get around the Glass core, but then once the Florges was given up to the, like, I feel like Gardevoir is actually a pretty decent way of ending Erick's team right here. So that's just my post-match analysis, but overall, you know, you go to that Charizard, you clean up anything that could be a problem to it, really just the Landorus, and that was kind of it. So enough to stop that for sure. And that's, yeah, Glass core Charizard X is pretty ferocious. So if you guys enjoyed this battle, we had a long one, 46v6, but sometimes you guys like it, and we might have had an interesting commentary for that. So you guys enjoyed the battle, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.